Be the right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most. How about in? That is better than most. Better than most!
Expect anything different?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another edition of the No Laying Up Live Show presented by High Noon. We are, TC and I are here in the doghouse.
Woof, woof.
We got the sun shining brightly in our eyes. We're looking out at Cypress Point. What a week this was. What a day.
Charlie Hull. Yeah, we'll talk about Allisen Corpuz, but Charlie Hull reaffirmed like life for me. That was awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
Complete flusher. Reminded me of my guy Tommy Fleetwood a little bit.
Including coming up just short. Joining us all the way from Florida, Mr. Chris Solomon. Solly, thanks for hopping on and being a part of this. How are you?
Guys, I wish I could have been there all week with you. I had huge FOMO all week long. I feel like I'm currently looking at two different composite sketches of DB Cooper with you guys here with your shades on, absolutely stunting on me. But pleasure of a week. Enjoyed watching it. Enjoyed following along with all of your guys' coverage. Waking up to a show every morning was fantastic. Allisen Corpuz, legendary performance. A lot to get to today, Big. A lot to talk about. I'm excited.
Yeah, and let's get into it. Before we do, I mentioned we want to thank High Noon. If you are a tequila lover who has never,
Solly, I know you are.
Solly would know you're a tequila lover, and you're never satisfied with malt-based hard seltzer offerings, you're gonna love the new High Noon tequila seltzer. And guess what, folks? They're now available nationwide. I'm gonna grab one here.
Little lime
Action.
margarita.
Made with real tequila and real juice, clean finish.
Speaking of juice,
There we go. Had to get it open.
Juice's birthday. Solly, your birthday this past weekend. Do you have some high noons?
Did have some high noons. Did have some tequila as well, and some tequila high noons. This actually a fair amount was flowing through the Solomon household this weekend. So,
Well, I said clean finish because it's made with real Blanco tequila. 100 calories, gluten-free, no added sugar. High Noon tequila seltzer is available in 4 bright, crisp flavors: strawberry, lime, grapefruit, and passion fruit. Strawberry, it's a fresh, juicy, sweet strawberry flavor and fruit finish. Hugh Kim had a strawberry in the bottom of her bag today. She, maybe she's a fan of those. Lime, a burst of fresh citrus notes and aroma. Grapefruit, a complex blend of grapefruit and fresh citrus flavors. And passion fruit, a hint of tropical flair and real passion fruit flavor. High Noon is great for any occasion under the sun, and there's no better time than summer to try High Noon tequila seltzer. Look for High Noon tequila seltzer on Drizzly at your local convenience store or liquor store, or visit highnoonspirits.com to find it near you. Sincerely thank High Noon for being a wonderful partner of our live shows this year. And cheers, boys. Like I said, TC, this was a hell of a week. Code Man, he's running the 1s and 2s over here. He'll pop in. We had an awesome time out here in Pebble. And I think, I want to ask you guys, Allisen Corpuz, it was a really, really, really good performance today. And I know she might not be the winner some people want, she's shy. She's not the most charismatic person, but man, her play was deserving. And I think we start there. I mean, all credit to her. She went out and she did the damn thing. I don't know what else there is to say, really.
Only player in the field under par all 4 rounds.
wow.
At par or under par all 4 rounds. 69, 70, 71, 69. Even they got warned for slow play today, and she didn't bat an eye. She just kept on, sped up a little bit, but didn't affect her. The birdie on 14, I thought was exceptionally impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And then backs it up on 15 and just stuffs it in there. It was like there was no chance of that tournament slipping away from her, even after, 17 was playing really tough for the ladies. We can get to that. But Sally, what do you think?
I think if you are a competitive golf coach at any level, a team, a high school team, a college team, if you coach individual professional players, up and coming players, I would find a recording of this performance, final round performance, and replay that for whoever you're teaching. Like if you want to see the proper US Open demeanor, it was Allisen Corpuz today. I mean, there was not a change in her facial expression, probably until the 17th hole. She finally smiled after striping yet another 5-iron directly at the pin. There was no change in her tempo, maybe to a flaw at some point of them falling a hole behind at one point. I don't know if I could compliment that exactly, but the routine stayed exactly the same. There was no deep breaths. There was no like this moment's too big. There was none of that. Everyone, if you watched a lot of this golf tournament this week, we saw everybody fuck up. Like at some point, everybody did something really dumb. Everybody made a critical mistake, and she made it look so easy. But when you've seen the context, when you have the full context of everyone we've seen fall apart, Nasa played an incredible tournament, absolutely fell apart on the back nine today. Rose never got anything going. Ji Shin like had an incredible bail out into the ocean, or she might have won this hole, won this tournament. If she didn't do that on the 8th hole, Allisen Corpuz was that today. And I mean, I was listening to your guys' show this morning in the gym, and you're talking about who's going to win. And I think even Friday night, I was like, dude, it's Allisen. It's her. Like, it's totally her. And she just emphatically put her foot on everybody's throat in the nicest possible way.
And we've mentioned her name, half a dozen times this year of like, hey, another solid top 10 for Allisen Corpuz. It kind of reminded me of when Gary Woodland won here, where it just wasn't like he just wasn't missing shots. Like I know she bogeyed 18 both Friday and Saturday, and that was kind of the one spot where it was like, all right, like those weren't great shots, but then even like hitting driver today on 18, it was like slamming the door.
We were all like, oh my God, I can't believe she's hitting driver.
How would you guys play if you have a 3-shot lead in a tournament at Pebble Beach on the 18th hole? How would you play the hole? I would not be pulling driver. I'd be hitting it into a whale's low
a few
hole.
years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
you hit like 6-iron.
Right, just playing a shorter club out to that like right short fairway area. But it was like when you've hit 85% of your fairways on the season. I guess it's a little easier to pull driver in that situation.
And you got that low bullet shot in your arsenal.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say, so a couple of things. I thought Jordan Perez, who has been out here all week with us, she's writing tonight. She's not on the show. She's I believe going to write up a piece about Charlie Hall, which I'm really excited for. But she had a piece on Allisen Corpuz that came out this morning, kind of setting the stage for today's round. And one of the quotes from Allisen in that piece was, I'm quoting Corpuz now, I honestly still need to get a little bit more comfortable, I think, in contention. So that's really been the focus this year, just really trying to put myself into that spot and then hopefully learn how to convert as it keeps happening. And that's exactly we saw her tied for the lead after the 3rd round at Chevron back in April. She came up short. She shot 74 that day. But man, she's a quick learner because today was rock solid. It was impressive. And the other point I want to make out of this is I think Jordan's piece does a really good job. Yes, this was her first LPGA win. Yes, obviously her first major. But she's not like a fluky winner. She's not from out of nowhere, Tron, as you said. We've been mentioning her a bunch this year. This has been slowly progressing, and it's been a culmination. It's never been sexy. It's never been flashy necessarily, but she has just been steadily getting better ever since she was at USC. And
even before that, like she played, I was talking to a friend who used to work for AJGA. Like she's played in like almost as many top shelf like invitational AJGA events, or like the cream, that's the cream of the AJGA. She played in like 3 or 4 dozen of those along the way. Like a lot of reps, a lot of learning how to compete, how to win. It's, sometimes kind of like Lily Vu, it's a slower simmer. Right.
So yeah, Solly, I think, we'll play the over-under game, of course, a little bit
we have
further
reached
down
out
the
to
road.
Neil. We've reached out to Neil asking for his answer for how many majors. What's the over-under for Allisen Corpuz? Oh, he has set the number at over-under at 4.5 majors for Allisen Corpuz. I can't tell if this is a bit from him or not. I don't know if he's just fucking with us at this point, but I would think the over under is probably like 1.5, right? I mean, it would undermine this achievement to like make it higher than that, right? This was an incredible achievement, and this was very, very, very hard to do, despite the fact that she made it look easy.
It was a perfect course for her, and she's 25. It's not like and I'll go back. I inflated her AJGA numbers a little bit. She played in 21 AJGA invitationals, but 4-time All-American AJGA, 2-time AJGA winner, 16 top fives, 40 tournaments played. That's a pretty illustrious
and listen
junior career.
She, in kind of a great nod to symmetry with Michelle Wie saying goodbye to the game this weekend. She broke Michelle Wie's record for being the youngest to ever qualify for a U.S. women's amateur pub links. She was 10 years old. I mean, she was a prodigy, right? A lot of these girls, they have immense junior talent, junior success. But yeah, she got to college, and again, she never won an individual national title, but she had a good career. She just kept getting better. She came out. She earned her card in Q Series the year she graduated, and last year was her rookie year on tour. She finished within the top 60 in the race for the CME Globe. Didn't win, had a runner-up, had a handful of other really good finishes. It was a good, solid rookie season, not setting the world on fire. And so you turn the page to 2023, and she's been in the hunt, near the top of leaderboards, playing really steady, good golf. And yeah, we get to a U.S. Open where it seems like a traditional U.S. Open winner is somebody that is just steady and can be present and isn't overwhelmed by the moment, isn't jittery. And that was her today. I mean, I really like this win. I don't think this is a bad winner. I hope other people don't think this is like a quote unquote bad winner or disappointing winner. I think she's very deserving.
Not a bad winner, but not like the storyline that's going to hook people into women's golf, I think is probably a fair place.
We can be realistic.
That's fair.
That.
For sure.
And it wasn't a great leaderboard behind her either. It's not like there was some other, aside from Charlie, of course, which
I can't make sense of. I've heard you guys talk about it all week. I can't really make sense of. I thought Pebble was a good, not great setup and good, not great test. Incredible venue and obviously elevated this event in a way that we've never seen before. But I haven't really been able to make sense of how few like top 10 players in the world were even remotely in the mix this all week, like from the jump.
Listen, I think if anybody can definitively make sense of that, would love to invite them onto the show. I mean, that was certainly the talk of the tournament, especially those first couple days. It was like, wow, like Jin Young Ko, I cannot believe she's playing this poorly. Nelly, we knew she was hurt. She still might be battling some stuff.
I got some information for you for Jin Young Ko. I guess she injured her shoulder up in Jersey at Baltusrol. That's the issue. So she got a hurt wing. She came down, spent all that time last week.
All those oysters.
What we said was she was playing tons of practice rounds. She was actually getting a ton of rehab done. So she's injured. She knew she wanted to play this event.
She was injured, not hurt.
Very much an injured situation. So trying to figure it out.
A lot of injuries starting to pile up.
That's the bummer. And I was going to say for some of the top players, Nelly, Lilia Vu, it's a shame. But solid point taken. I think let's discuss the LPGA major situation, because I think that's a very interesting conversation. A few other things on Allisen Corpuz.
In short, LPGA's got a parity problem, and we'll I think, and we'll get to that if you'll allow me.
So I like my is it shots gained or strokes gained?
It's strokes, but big. You're learning. I don't want to put up any barriers to entry for you getting deep into this statistical game. I wake up every morning just smiling, hearing you host the show, just falling back on strokes gained to give us all that perspective. I made me so happy.
No, but we're out there getting eyes on these players.
We're validating. Yeah, we're validating.
Scouts are out there, and then we're coming back and we're analyzing and
cool.
putting the data against our corresponding scouting reports.
How's the Vision Fund doing this year? This year,
great over a rolling 24-month period.
You got to zoom out.
Crushing.
You got to take a real macro, broad view.
Neil's pimping a top 10 Ludwig play that he thinks is awesome. You know, we have higher expectations for Ludwig than a
We
top
do.
10.
We do, but TC as Ludwig fans.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, so I was going to say in the fourth round today, Allisen plus 1.75 strokes gained approach, which is phenomenal.
Which that like our eyes saw that. It validates what our eyes saw.
And then putted the hell out of it. Plus 2.64 strokes gained putting. I mean, just a great formula. And again, she doesn't miss fairways. So yeah, it's like, where was she going to make a big mistake?
After she got off the tee on 9 and 10, it's kind of like, all right, like, I don't know. That's where Pebble a little bit doesn't do it for me. Is like, once you get through that stretch is so good. And then you get through like, I don't know, like even like 11's even cool. And then after that, I'm kind of like, all right, time to buckle down for this slog from 12 to 17, you know?
The interesting part of it was at least that it was into the wind, and I thought we'd see more higher scores on the back nine on Saturday and Sunday, and we didn't. I mean, they adjusted the tees. I thought it was still a good test, but it just was not set up for a whole lot of excitement on that back nine. And yeah,
I'll tell you what, the women did not play anywhere near the wind that I had to brave.
I thought we were sold a bill of goods on some of the wind forecasts.
I know.
TC, weren't you the one selling it?
No, the National Weather Service and the models, and the USGA as well. We're selling it. So, you know, listen, I can only work with my suppliers. Right.
Right. We're only as good as the people around us.
Yeah. And they're, you know, I'm parsing through. I can evaluate my suppliers, but I can't change my suppliers mid-tournament.
Right. I'll say the other thing, you know, from talking to Beth Ann Nichols through the years, she makes a good point. And whether I like it or agree with it or not, I don't think it matters. And honestly, we're starting to see it on the men's side with the USGA. They haven't sought to embarrass players.
Enough for your standard.
Well, enough. Yeah. I would say really at all, but certainly enough. And I think that's especially true on the women's side. And Beth Ann's point that she's told me through the years is, listen, the U.S. Women's Open is one of the prime opportunities to get a lot of new eyeballs on the game and on these women. And it just doesn't serve the long-term interests of the sport to just make them look bad.
7 players broke par this week. I thought difficulty level was there. I really thought so.
I agree.
Especially seeing the trajectory that the women hit it and their spin rates, like that was freaking tough. That really was.
Greens were plenty firm. God, Randy, between the stats and lauding the USGA,
I don't want to say I'm lauding them. I want to say I can understand their approach. It wouldn't be the approach I chose. You know, I don't have to like it, but I understand it.
I think the setup could have been better on 18. Could have been more variety on 18. 18 was not all that dynamic.
And 17, I thought.
Yeah, I think 17 as well. I was glad they moved it up on 14. I thought 14, when you give them the option there, it actually plays tougher because you get up closer to the green. I thought they could have moved 4 up one of the days and played that as like a 2, you know, there's a box there, like move it up to 260 or
right.
You know, but yeah, I don't know. There's plenty of gripes I have with Pebble. We don't need to do that tonight.
Gentlemen, I have some. You talk about setup. You talk about getting out there, doing a little recon that we did. We had it dialed all week, but we also had a man on the ground, guy who's on the ground every week during major championships. That's Kevin Van Valkenburg. We have him dialing in now. You guys want to bring him in yet?
Yeah, bring him in. Water's warm. Come on.
Cody, are you over at Cyprus right now?
I am. What's up?
Not allowed to film out there. You're not allowed to film.
Hello, fellas. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
I am fabulous. Just got done out hanging out with Allisen Corpuz. Good, decent press conference. It was a little bit like getting blood from a stone to get some interesting things from her, but we worked it, I think, pretty well. You know, it's a lot of teamwork amongst the media to get her to tell some stories about herself. You know, I think my big takeaway from this week is, I said this actually one of the shows earlier, but it's worth repeating that I was walking with Nelly Corda earlier this week, and she sort of whispered to her caddy at one point, I am so tense. I cannot calm down. And I think that was kind of true of a lot of the top players. They want this so bad that it sort of was hard for any of them to relax, whether it was Jen Co or Nelly or Lexi. Like the U.S. Open means so much to them. And to Allison's credit, she was the one person who was basically like able to keep calm and be a stone cold killer throughout. So that's why she won ultimately.
I think that's a fantastic point. And I think just adding to that, the first time they've ever been at Pebble Beach, I think it was just even a heightened, winning a U.S. Open any year is going to make you nervous and tense. But when you come to an iconic venue, it's the first ever playing here for the women. I can see where, we talk about in other sports when athletes just kind of want it too much, right? And they tense up and they get away from what makes them great. I absolutely buy that for at least part of a reason why we didn't see some of those big names, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, think about we were talking a lot this week, whether it was on camera or off, about what majors at women's, golf mean a lot, whether the Evian is like a fake major or not. But I think you can put the U.S. Women's Open well above like all the others. It is their Masters, their, everything combined, and that they're all dream of winning this tournament. And the fact that it was a Pebble elevated even further. So I think the pressure on all that. I mean, I always think about when people were picking Rory to win at Portrush. I was like, I don't think you quite understand like Rory's DNA. Like that's the exact opposite of the place where he could sort of figure out, because he's emotional. He carries with that stuff. And I think a lot of women were sort of feeling that this week of like, oh my God, it's Pebble. I want this one forever. So
yeah. Well, you mentioned Allison's press conference. There's Jordan. Jordan, I thought your piece this morning was bang on. I thought it provided great context, and we were speaking earlier about, this is a.
I don't think she can hear you.
Oh, I'm going to tell her what she can hear. So keep going. I'll translate.
KBV, just tell her well done, and we really hope to read a Charlie Hull piece.
And we can also stunt on us.
And we apologize. We formally apologize for not believing in Allisen. But we need a formal apology from her.
Real quick on Benedetta Marescu.
What's the question here?
Yeah. Jordan, they would like you to either apologize or defend Benedetta Marescu as your
low
am this week.
You guys are doing her dirty here. This is tough.
Benedetta, I respect the comeback. I do apologize. I don't want the Benedetta mob to come after me.
The Italian, you're invoking the mob now.
I understand. I was really bullish on the Louise
mob actions going on.
She can't hear you guys.
Apology accepted.
Apology accepted.
Before we let Jordan go, the just biggest takeaway from this week, obviously historic venue, historic moment. Allisen is someone who you have, I think, better insight. I mean, you were one of the few people who has talked to her previously, who kind of knows her well enough to follow her whole career. Like, what'll be your big takeaway from this week?
I think this was career changing, right? Obviously. And so I think she's worked for this moment for an extremely long time. She always had the game. I think the conviction took a lot longer. And there was a point that this almost never happened. Like she almost, very much contemplated not turning professional. And so I think, against such an incredible test of golf, like she came out and got it done, and that's going to speak volumes towards whatever legacy she ends up creating. And this is so good for American golf too. I mean, I know Allisen can be a little shy in the pressers, on the mic kind of thing, and I noticed that she was really overcome with so much emotion and was pretty overwhelmed. But I think this was a huge confidence boost. This means so much to her. I mean, really had kind of a late, I don't want to say breakout. There was definitely some ebbs and flows in her amateur career, but I think this kind of reassures the decision that she made, and it's really powerful, truly.
Bang up job, Jordan, this week. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jordan.
One thing I just follow up with Jordan, I think it's such a good, she talked about it as good for American golf. Allisen is one of the few really thoughtful Americans out there who has a big breadth of life. Like she's has 2 degrees. She's willing to sort of speak out on issues that are bigger than golf. And I think
supply chain.
Yeah, so definitely we should get her on the trap draw to talk about the supply chain.
Her masters of supply chain management.
We're looking for some weather suppliers, weather forecast suppliers.
I think that's going to be a good thing going forward for our sake, for the media, to have someone who is able to kind of speak to bigger issues when they come up, whether it's, I don't know, Saudi money might be one thing that's going to creep into more the women's game even more. Be interesting to hear what she would have to say about that.
Well, get your politics out of my sports.
I know.
KBV, come on.
KBV, that kind of leads into something I wanted to ask you about, in that, listen, she's shy and we know where she gets that from. I mean, her father's interview on 18 was just an electric factory. And that's okay, right? People are who they are. I guess my question is, I'm really fascinated where and how we make that distinction between Allisen Corpuz, oh my God, quiet killer, kind of being in on that shyness, if you will.
Yeah.
And Allisen Corpuz, boring winner. Like, I didn't like this. I'm really curious where we're going to fall out, because I think leading into today, I don't think a lot of people, nothing against her, but I just think a lot of people weren't necessarily rooting for her as the winner, because, she maybe isn't going to give you a lot. And I'm just curious your thoughts.
I think if your personality is not effusive, I mean, I think we could say comfortably say that she's like the opposite of Charlie Hall in terms of like their personalities, that you need to win a lot, right? It needs to sort of be, you're an ice cold killer kind of thing. And so if Allisen is at a moment where she's going to continue to sort of be relevant in majors, and that this season and overall, I think lends itself to that, then that could be part of the sort of narrative of who she is, of like, hey, I'm the one who holds my shit together in the tough moments. I mean, I had a really interesting sort of discussion with her caddy, Jay Monahan, right after the thing, an exclusive interview with Jay Monahan.
Big week for Jay Monahan
crazy times
between the Randall Stevenson stuff, the return.
I thought he wasn't back to work yet.
Didn't get a chance to ask him about Randall resigning, so I should have really dropped the ball there.
He won the caddy award, which I think the caddy award should go to. It should be separated from who wins.
I thought Charlie's caddy was fantastic.
Yeah. He was a top bloke. So he said when they talked about going on the clock, he said, I look, I'm going to be really honest. I had to go to the bathroom really bad after 11. And he was like, I had to run up the hill. He's like, this is the worst possible time, but I really have to go to the bathroom. And so he ran back to the tee, whatever. She's between 5 and 6 iron. They had already sort of, had been behind the group in front of them. She backed off because the wind died down, and the USGA person came over and said, hey, you're on the clock. If it happens again, you're going to get a stroke penalty. And he said, I did not know that. Like, I got to be honest, like on the LPGA, we get fined for, a bad time. And so he was like really sort of shook at that moment. He's like, that was the moment when we were both really feeling the pressure. She hits a pretty good shot there in 2 putts. And he was like, after that happened, I was finally able to relax. I was like, we got this. Because if she could sort of overcome that, then we're fine. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing. Like, they're the ones who handled like the adversity in that moment of, in the final round. That was the one kind of moment of like, holy crap, we could become a huge story here if we get docked a stroke penalty.
Evan, speaking of huge
there's
stories,
so much pizza that just entered the media center behind you. Like, oh my God.
It's Little Nero's, sir. Have your pizza.
Yeah, last US Open, I wasn't eating any carbs and eating pizza, and now I don't know. I might have to dive into that later. So,
with my luck, I'm sure this will be something cultural that will offend somebody in some way. We got to settle on one way to spell Allisen, because this is not it. Allisen. I can't do it. I can't. It auto corrects me every time I try to type it. Let's all get on the same page here and say we can't spell Allisen this way.
We need to standardize Allisen. We need to standardize Megan. We need to standardize Caitlin. Possibly Jeff.
This is like the third way to spell it, and like 2 ways is fine, but 3 ways is that we cannot have that. We cannot do that.
We need to standardize Philip 1 L or 2, Colin 1 L or 2.
Sadly, I had Allison with a YSL in the Solomon baby pool, so I guess I lost the baby pool.
YSL. That'd be a great ode to current events. Yeah,
slimy.
Well, KVV, I know. Anything else you want to impart on us before you get busy writing?
Charlie Hull. Tell us about Charlie Hull.
Yeah. There was a brief moment when I thought that Charlie was going to really just keep slamming the accelerator down. She just got her driver's license recently, so that seems relevant. And I thought, I got to go follow her, because could be a really kind of cool, iconic thing. And I was right there on 18 when she hit that shot, and she and her caddy, the first shot of the drive, she and the caddy thought, oh, it's perfect. No big deal. We could go up there, sitting at the bottom of the tree. And I thought it was really cool that she was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go for it. And she ripped a 3-wood. Remember, you could hear the crowd be like, ooh. And I know it sort of peeled left into the bunker there, but I thought that was kind of awesome. You know, it wasn't quite the Tanimal and the cat sort of ripping it on the green, but you know, she could have protected the money or there or whatever. She could have, you know, figured, but she decided I'm going for this. And I think that was kind of a cool indicative moment of who
She almost pulled it off.
she is. Yeah, she really almost did. And I mean, Jordan's going to write I think a really great Charlie Hull thing, and that will probably be the start of the story because that was such a cool moment.
She delivered the line of the tournament standing there under the tree. She said, "Shy kids don't eat sweets or don't
That's
get
awesome.
sweets."
I didn't get, wasn't close enough for that. So that's awesome that she said
Yeah.
that. So.
Which I will say, Shy Kids also do get the U.S. Women's Open trophy because
There you go. They can buy a lot of
You
sweets.
buy a lot of sweets. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, last question before you go, KV. Your daughter was out there for you this week, and I just was kind of curious. I don't know. I haven't listened to all. I haven't gotten to all the hours of the show this week. If you've talked about it, forgive me. But what was that experience like? What was her takeaway from being on site at Pebble and watching that up close?
I mean, just truly like an all-time week for me. She has been wanting to go to the Women's U.S. Open for her 10th birthday. I said, you know, I don't want to give you a thing. I want you to experience something. So you pick anything that you want to go to and we'll go to it. And, you know, her older sister picked a Taylor Swift concert, you know, when that happened for her. And Keegan picked the Women's US Open. And I was like, okay, we're going to go to Pine Needles. And she was like, nope, we're going to Pebble. That's what I want. And I mean, people who have heard me have probably heard me talk about her a bunch. And I probably talk about her too much, but she's, you know, she means the world to me, and our relationship with golf means a ton to me. And so, sorry to get emotional, but it was just awesome. It was awesome to get to, you know, be able to give her a chance to meet Rosang. And Lydia Ko comes up to us, you know, the first day we're here, and it's like, hey, do you want to walk with me? And so she's walking with Lydia Ko, and Lydia's like, I love your freckles. You know, I wish I had freckles like you. And for an 11-year-old girl to hear that from, you know, someone who's an icon in golf and someone who she's known for years is just, it's really cool. And
She's been awesome to hang out with this week.
She's a fun hang. And I'm really grateful that I got to do this with her. And, you know,
Kat,
means a lot.
She's
Hey,
a great,
did
she's
you
a
see
great
Macklemore?
kid. She's been nothing but additive. And honestly, I don't know how she does it because she's been walking out there more than we have.
She's a trooper, man. She was at dinner last night. Like, we're all exhausted. I'm like, I don't know how she's not falling asleep in the pizza. She birdied 7 at the hay.
Yeah, she did
This
birdie.
week
So
as
we
well?
got to play the hay. She's, you know, she plays a ton at home. She loves it. She was like, I think we're going to play somewhere tomorrow. And she's it's funny because she has watched the short game 100 times, and she watched the Stanford documentary, you know, and so Rose is like one of her heroes and stuff. And so for her to see Amari Avery, who is very much emotional like she is on the course, was kind of funny because she was like, all right, Dad, I get it. Like, you're always telling me, like, can you just like enjoy the game and chill? And I'm stomping around and stuff. And so I was trying to get her to come on the live show earlier because she's literally been writing a story about her experience this week of coming to the tournament and stuff. And so she was like, Dad, I got kind of stuck on it. And I was like, I'll help you. That happens a lot to writers. You know, you get jammed up and stuff. And no, it's so awesome. I mean, the USGA was incredibly cool to basically say, yeah, like we know you've been around enough majors that you're not going to have her running out in the middle of the green and stuff. Like, she's going to behave herself.
Like she's Annika's kid.
Yeah. That's funny because earlier this week, Keegan was like, Dad, that's Will. Like, I recognize him from the PNC. That's Will McGee or whatever. And I was like, oh, wow. You recognize people that I don't even. So it's just been super cool. And I'm really grateful. It's an all-timer of a week for me. So.
Kev,
I'm so upset that you guys didn't let me get in the after the emotional family tie to Pebble Beach. Didn't let me get my line in if you saw Macklemore out there. And I'm so mad. I've tried like 8 times.
I'm busy like weeping here at the thing, and you know, yeah. So
That's
Kevin, we all recognized out here how cool it was an experience for you to be with her and see it through her eyes there. And she's such a great little girl. But ultimately, like, TC and I talked about this as well. And I posted something yesterday on my Instagram story of like how great you are with her. And I think you are exactly what a lot of fathers that are out there who have young kids who are super into sports. You're doing it the right way. You're not forcing anything on it. You're letting them explore and go about it their own way. And the birdie that she had on the hay was so cool because she talked about it all night long. What golf ball did she use when she got that birdie?
Titleist.
That's right. She got
right.
a Titleist. This podcast is brought to you by Titleist, the #1 ball in golf, the choice of the 78th United States Open Women's Champion, Allisen Corpuz. Corpuz etched her name in history by ball striking her way around Pebble Beach with her Titleist Pro V1. She gained the majority of her shots on the field this week. With her approach shots, led the field in birdies, and was the only player to shoot under par in each of her 4 rounds. Total of 105 TC players this week at Pebble Beach played the Pro V1 or the Pro V1X golf ball.
105 out of 156.
That's right. Those are good numbers, which was more than 6 times the nearest competitor. Corpuz added her name to the list of USGA champions alongside U.S. Open winner Wyndham Clark, who won his first major championship last month at LACC. Using his Pro V1X, just like me.
And
X guy
and
here.
me.
That's right. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf, the #1 ball at the U.S. Open, the #1 ball at the U.S. Women's Open, and wherever the biggest titles in the game are on the line. Thank you, Mr. Randy.
You guys are crying about KVV's experience. I'm crying at Cody's ad.
His ad pivot. That was so good.
I saw you. I saw you like 5 minutes ago. We're way past that. I got it in.
Proud. I'm so proud.
I'll say this. Keegan learned a lot of new words this week too that she can take home to her friends.
Oh, here she is right here. We can just have her pop on the live show to say. Can you just say hi to everyone?
Hi.
Did you have fun this week, Keegan?
So I want to know if you had fun this week. What?
Definitely.
Yeah. Is anything
highlight?
like going to stand out of that you saw this week that was the coolest thing?
All of the people and the views.
Yeah. What was it like to meet Rosang and like to get to hang with her?
It was really cool.
Anything else that you'll remember and take away? Like that was a memorable thing? How about your birdie on at the hay the other day?
Oh yeah. We played the hay and I birded the 7th hole.
So
Let's
cool.
go.
She's gonna tell mom. Dad let her stay up so late. He ate so much candy. She watched all the bad TV in the world.
Cody says I let you eat too much candy and watch bad TV. Okay. All right. Thank you for popping on.
Bye, geeks.
KVV, one other thing was you offer Keegan very grown-up, well-reasoned explanations for things of like we're talking about, a player, we're talking about an agent or somebody. It's like, well, all right, Keegan, like that person's actually like a really bad person. And here's why.
You can't like this person.
You'll love this. We were walking on the 14th hole today, and she says to me, Dad, what is the trap draw? Like, I know it's the podcast, but like, what is a trap draw? And I was like, well, it's a certain kind of shot that you hit when you sort of close the face down, you try and hit a kind of a low draw around the corner, but also like trap music is like a thing in the South. And there's this guy Jeezy who
too far. Let's get back to this here.
So I tried my best, just give her the best honest explanation. We'll stop somewhere in there. But.
All right. KVV, cheers, man. Thank you for not only writing up a storm this week, joining the live shows. Thank you for getting a little personal there and sharing, just how much this week meant to you, to your daughter. That's awesome stuff.
Thanks, boys. We'll see you soon.
See you.
All right.
That's super cool. I feel like I feel like Keegan understands probably a lot more what her father does for a living.
Yeah.
Which is a impactful, cool thing.
I know. I never got to go to any accounting conferences with my old man. Feel like I'm missing out there. Solly, let's have that conversation I alluded to earlier. You have a note in our agenda about LPGA major champions. Can you go over that?
Yeah, so this is they said this on the telecast as they were going off the air, but this is the 20th different major championship winner in the women's side in the last 21 majors.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
It is.
What about real majors?
I'd have to decipher that. Okay. I'm just curious if you think that's a bad thing or a good thing, or maybe it's very obvious. I think that's not a good thing for a sport, that's trying to market stars. And I would say the same exact thing if it was the case on the men's side of you need people to like hoover up championships to like really move the needle or gain interest I guess we've been in the covering the women's game for 5+ years now. This is probably our 6th year doing it, and trying to come to terms with why it doesn't seem to be gaining a lot of steam. And I think you can point to something like that as definitely being a factor in that. I'm curious your guys' reaction to
That would be a problem if it was the men's game, right? If
for sure.
Seamus Power won a major and then Takumi Kanaya.
Why are you picking on the Irish?
Because the Irish have been all over my DMs all week.
But I do want to say in those majors, there've been world-class players who've won. It's not just no names that are winning.
You just need a little bit of consistency and a little bit of context, and everybody has less context with the LPGA Tour than they do with the PGA Tour, and it's also it makes sense. It's a more global game, right? It's
right.
KLPGA, Japan, let all that. So I think that makes sense as well. It's a little bit more trifurcated almost, right?
Yeah, listen, Solly, I agree with you. If you were to ask me what the best thing for the LPGA Tour to gain momentum, to gain eyeballs, to gain traction in mainstream America with sports fans, yeah, it's going to be a dominant player, right? It's going to be, for instance, an Ellie Corda going out and winning, something like 3 out of 5 majors or 4 out of 7 majors, something like that. I do think, though, Tron, you alluded to it. I think having more context around some of these players would certainly help bring these winners to life and to make some of these first-time winners pop. I'm just thinking back, Runing Yin, right? She just won a couple weeks ago at KPMG. 20-year-old Chinese, she could be a superstar, right? But it's her first win. Lilia Vu, super talented American, won at Chevron in April. Again, it's a bummer that she's been injured since then, but we don't know over the next few years.
So to your point, I think there's a lot of inconsistency there too. The floor for some of these ladies is so much lower than you would think it would be, and this week's a good example of it, right?
Well, it just kind of feels like they're not no-name winners. I'm not saying that, but it's we preview these things, we talk about who's going to win, we make picks, and it just seems like almost every winner every week is a surprise in some way, right? And
yeah,
maybe that speaks to the depth and the talent of it, but it just is I don't know. It makes it a little harder for these.
I think that's the optimistic case. What I think, honestly, is we're just not, we're not fed the storytelling. We're not talking about these women, the top 20, 25, 30 women consistently on Sunday nights, right? We're not seeing them in the prime broadcast windows on network television. I do think a large part of this is a lack of coverage and storytelling that the women's game suffers from compared to the PGA Tour.
It's funny too. There's, on the flip side of this, we also complain that there's not enough depth in the women's game. So you would think if you had all this parity that you'd have a ton of depth, and there's really not.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's like you have these 40 to 50 players, and we've just been picking out ping pong balls, and we just keep picking out different ones. I think some of it's probably just plain old luck, right? Random variance.
We need some dogs, though.
We do. I also think venues matter, right? Getting to proper tests and setting up golf courses in a way that really identifies the best in the world. Now, granted, we know the best in the world this week. A lot of them had flights home Friday night.
There's been some fluky winners at Pebble the last majors too.
Yeah.
Not fluky, but just, off the wall, under the radar.
Yeah. So I think what we're all saying is I think it's a lot of things. And end of day, I agree. It's maybe not ideal for right now for the LPGA Tour, but I also am hopeful that when we get to 2026, 2027, and start looking back on this year, for instance, I'm hopeful like a Runing Yin and a Lilia Vu will be factors over the next 3, 4, 5 years. But time will tell.
Yeah, it just I felt that way about Patty Tavatanakit when she won. I felt that way when Yuka Saso won 2 years ago. When Nelly won the U.S. Women's Open 2 years ago, I felt that way for sure. Minjee is the one name that has repeated on that list in the last 21 majors. So yeah, it just seems to come and go pretty quickly for a lot of these players, and we need somebody with a little bit of staying power. Like that's where, like, having Brooks Koepka in majors over the last 5 years, 6 years in men's professional golf has elevated things. Like we have somebody achieving like greatness and Hall of Fame level career right in front of us, and it's like, Lydia, man, like 2 majors and you haven't won one since 2016. Like that
and not real majors.
Thanks. Yeah, she's the fake majors. So.
Well, it's something too. You need, like, you want history, you want favorites, and you want and then I feel like the underdogs mean more when you have
down,
favorites and when you have that consistency at the top.
For sure.
So anyways.
Randy, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you want to announce to the people who you'll be supporting in the Solheim Cup this year?
TC, you and I are running it back from 2021. Team Euro, baby.
The United States team they're fucked. I mean, it's not even going to be close.
Well, they pick up a good one in Allisen Corpuz. She's certainly a lock now to go to Spain. I think she was all but a lock before this week. But yeah, you and I, we've been Euro diehards really since day one, TC, and I think we're gonna take that over to Spain.
We got Charlie Hall. I think this is a good segue to talk about a little bit of Charlie Hall.
Let me just say, what a fun round of golf. She had me on the edge of my seat. I at one point went out to heat a bowl of leftover pasta.
You're gonna say eat a bowl of something else,
and was running back to watch her play 14. Like it was captivating. She was lashing at the ball. Those swings were incredible. She was rolling in putts. She was just oozing confidence. And when anybody gets into that state, it's electric television.
You guys know I love Charlie. I love her Instagram account. I love her cockiness. They flashed her eagle up on the big board in the media center on 2, and I'm like, all right, we got to get out to 3. Cody, Andy Johnson, and I walk out to 3. She drains a putt there. She proceeds to birdie 4, and then 5 she had just a really like big bounce.
I think she had her hand slapped a little bit.
Exactly.
Reaching
it was
into
like
that
a heat check.
Cookie jar.
And then 6,
she made a good 4 on 5. That could have been a huge number.
They couldn't find the ball, and this guy dressed up as like a red coat from the Revolutionary War, like it was like a red coat mixed with Poulter, like ran out and like helped him find the ball. It was bizarre, and then she comes back, she birdies 6, exceptional second shot up there, and then hit a really good shot into 7. Awesome up and down on 8. Like
really good
up and down.
Yeah.
Birdies 10, birdies 11. She hit like just lashing her irons.
Lashing her putts too. She was banging them off the flag stick. Like it was a total ears pinned back situation with like actual, like without like reckless golf being played. It was so good. I thought she was going to nail another birdie coming in. I really did.
The shot into 14. I wish we had that one back.
Sure.
The second or the third shot into 14. And then I thought she like 15, need that one. And then 16,
I thought hit a good putt on 15.
Yeah. That was a great putt on 15. A really good second shot too. 16, kind of an unlikely birdie there. Even her iron into 17. That was such a tough shot.
Yeah.
Like nobody pulled that shot off. That was as good as you could have done today. And then 18 almost pulls it off and hit a good bunker shot.
But even on 17, I loved her approach with her caddy. She's like, I'm pumped up right now. They're talking about club choices. She says that I'm pumped up. And then when she hits it, drives it under the tree on 18, pretty reckless play from 262. Like you're not getting there. Best case scenario, you run it up to the front fairway and you chip in for eagle. Like I still support the play and appreciate it, but she gets under.
If I may underscore, like the money on the line this week,
$1 million. Yeah,
it is really significant, especially I think to the women that were in contention today. I mean, it's significant to anybody, but very easily could have played it safe there and, felt good about collecting $1 million. But instead, she had one thought on her mind. She wanted to go win the tournament.
She wanted to go win the tournament, and then she's probably playing Call of Duty tonight and messing people up there.
She wanted them sweets, man. That's all she wanted.
My favorite Charlie Hole memory is still from the Solheim Cup, the European winning party in Toledo.
Yeah.
There, and she comes downstairs and she's wearing like a full velour
like tracksuit pajama set.
Yeah, and like all of her teammates dragging her out on the dance floor, and she begrudgingly broke it down and then headed back up to play more video games.
think the misconception based on her Instagram and maybe some of why we're building her up is like she's just the life of the party, but I think she's actually pretty shy.
And I think she's a golf sicko.
I know she's really good friends with Georgia Hall. And yeah, I don't know. She's always been somebody we've kind of rooted for because she's such an interesting person, right? This juxtaposition between her online persona and how she goes about her golf and
so much going on when she's over the ball.
Yeah. Oh God, it makes me anxious. It really does.
It's going to be one of my favorite rounds of golf for the entire year.
Awesome.
It was a true pleasure.
We called it yesterday. We said, hey, this is going to be our bad girl group.
Yeah.
Overall, what do you think happened? She came out,
it's
66. Proper did. I mean, if you would have told her this morning you're going to go out and shoot 66, she'd say, yeah, that'll probably put me there.
Now, we were wrong on Angel shot 77. We thought they were either going to raise each other up or bring each other down.
Which might
see them go that divergent.
Which might speak to how bad Charlie is, like bad in a good way,
Yeah.
She may have alphaed Angel.
Angel didn't putt well, but
I will say, Cody, on that note, the 66 today, no woman had ever shot 7 under or better on Sunday in the U.S. Open, and she had a putt on 18 to do that. Didn't make it, but man, hell of a round.
Like that drive she hit on 16, like she took less club and still she just smoked it. She was putting extra.
She's like, at one time, she's like, oh, I think I'm a bit pumped.
Anyways, back to the caddy. She's underneath the tree and she's got the 3-wood out, but it was even in that moment, she's just like asked the caddy bluntly, like, do you like this play? Like talk me out of this. Like I'm willing to be talked out of this, but I want to hit this. And he begrudgingly, I don't think he actually liked it, but he was like, yeah. Go ahead. Hit it. But it was awesome. It was very, I still wish they could have done more with 18 to make that element there of somebody making a charge, maybe with the potential to get there in 2. I don't know why you don't. I mean, I really don't know why it becomes a double layup contest.
That was the biggest miss on setup, in my opinion, was not having 18 be an eagle opportunity.
Even if you want to do that, you can bump 14 back.
Right.
Like today and bump 7 or bump 18 up a little bit.
And make 2 a lot more, make up for it other places, but not being able to see those 3 woods and hybrids attempting to be hit into 18 was a bit of a shame.
I'm keen to see if Charlie didn't come into this playing great golf. She'd missed a few cuts in a row. Keen to see if she can kind of use this momentum.
I hope it's a springboard. She mentioned in her post-round interview, she's really kind of refocused and has been working on her game. And this week things really clicked and she felt good. So yeah, hoping this is a sign of big things to come. Maybe a strong home game at the Women's British Open.
GI Shin.
I don't think we have to spend much time there.
Speed it up.
Great week. We have to worry about her. Is what?
Great week.
Really incredible. Which it's weird. Like we're all relatively new to following women's golf. Did not know before this week that she was a former number 1 and a 2-time major champion. It's just kind of weird.
Hand up.
Last night too, when I don't know if it was Cody or like rolling through all, or no, it was you.
Her
Randy,
worldwide wins.
Rolling through all of her worldwide wins and JLPGA and KLPGA and all that. It's crazy. NASA, I was expecting a lot more from her today.
Peaked too early.
Yeah.
Rub the launch.
Hugh Kim, do we have to revoke her license to kill?
Pretty disappointed in that. I just because you've killed before doesn't mean that you're a killer.
I think we're going to bring her in from the field. She's going to be on desk duty for a while.
Yeah. We're removing her sidearm.
I think we got to talk about Bailey Tardy.
Yeah, I think we all thought the tardy party was going to run out of steam a little bit more.
I could have sworn they were
Quickly
running
than-
low on food, beer.
Can
Go
I come
ahead,
back
Solly.
here? When was the license to kill given to Hyoju Kim? Like that one
I think
major.
like when we were in Korea.
Yeah,
Just
but
like, oh my
it's one major and it's one of the fake majors, and she had
I know.
a couple very close calls.
Listen,
between the swing and just the
she looks the part.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay.
Her parents
I'm
have
gonna ask
a
for
great
a culpa.
restaurant.
That's
Top
on you
quality
guys.
beef. No, that's on us for sure.
All right.
Listen, it might be the first time we've ever missed on something like that.
I think
We all
I
have
think
that happens all the
Bailey Tardy T4. That's a big result
Oh,
for her.
I mean, life changing.
To where like even not fading away from T4 to 12th or something like that's a massive win for her.
Guys,
And shot 75 on Saturday and then 73 today and didn't back down. I think she got off to kind of a mediocre start. She was 2 over through 3 today.
It was shaky.
And then came in and played 1 under her last 15 holes.
Yeah.
So
Solly, what were you gonna say?
Was $30,000 prior to this week. She made like 470 grand this week. Biggest paycheck of her career was a win on the Epson Tour for $30,000.
That's what I mean. And she gets to come back, automatically qualifies next year. I think just her check this week would have been inside the top 60 on the LPGA official money list last season.
Wow.
It's crazy. This is her rookie year. We talked about earlier this week. She went through a lot of near misses on the Epson Tour where she just missed her card. One year by $343. She's immensely talented. That was the theme of the week. I think anybody that knows her and has seen her play a lot of golf, she's a flusher's flusher. And it was always a question of, is she going to put in the work and does she have the dedication to maximize her game? And hopefully things are pointing in that direction. And like we said with Charlie, ideally this week is a springboard for her.
Ayaka Furuwe. I'm not going on the leaderboard yet. We're getting through the T6 people. And then I just wanted to say her name. Ayaka Furuwe. She played well. Good weekend.
Solly, let me ask you this. You watched a lot more of the broadcast than we did. Let's talk quickly about NBC and what you liked and what you didn't like watching from home.
They made it feel like a major. It felt different. It was, I said this on Thursday, but it was a far cry from the Chevron oil spill, the alleged first major of the year. There was different gravitas to it. They did all that. I thought that part was really good. The lack of commercials just changes everything. Really. I had to take the trash out and I'm like running to take the trash out to get back because they just wouldn't take a fucking break. Like that part was great.
Yeah.
The drone images were fantastic. They did Pebble justice for the most part. My critique was they needed some more cams out there and be able to the ability to follow more rounds. There was
hard cams or soft cams?
The hardest, softest of cams.
Soft. Yeah.
The tower shots did nothing. And I tweeted this, but there's an image of Allisen lining up a 3.5 foot putt to make a par on the 11th hole, and they started with the tower cam and then switched down back to the ground cam to show that her putt was outside the hole from 3.5 feet.
Yeah.
Like that is the challenge of Pebble Beach. That's not why a ton of people tune in, but that's what it is. And they lacked that touch on the ground. They didn't have very many announcers this week. I know they had some extenuating circumstances and whatnot, but just felt like they didn't have the on the ground reporters to go follow groups and to have the cameras to go follow them, which is that part was tough. But overall, I thought they did Pebble Beach justice. It gets a positive thumbs up for me. I wouldn't give it 2 thumbs up, but it's kind of it's a drill tweet. You do quote have to give it to them a little bit on this for not completely fucking it up, but that's the level of standard they've set.
And far better than the last major too, the KPMG.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
like it wasn't even close.
This is the week that truly I tune in. I'm like, oh, this is one of the biggest events of the year for the women. Like, no doubt. Everything about the broadcast was signaling that.
Grant, Morgan.
She came in late. Yeah. Just unfortunate. Karen Stupples, our best wishes to her. I think she's got some real sickness in the family she had to attend to. So it was a bit of extenuating circumstances with some personnel. Yeah, Solly, I think, listen.
Don't forget about Woody. Continues to crush it.
Oh,
John
awesome.
Wood.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The best investment NBC Sports ever did for golf.
Yes. And I guess my point is, and I hinted at it last night, was NBC's broadcasting every women's major, and not every women's major looks like this. So that leads me to really conclude it's not really NBC that's upping their game this week. It's the USGA and their partners, Rolex. I'll shout them out. Rolex, Cisco, American Express, who have made it a point. Lexus. They've made it a point to have this tournament look and feel Deloitte to look and feel the way that it does. And good on them. I think the USGA has done a really good job continuing to build up this event. And I would look at the other national golf association, the PGA of America, and I would say, hey, I think it's kind of on you to try to step your game up to what the USGA is doing. And the KPMG is good, and it's a great experience for the women, and there's a lot of really good things about it. But when you tune in as a viewer, it does not come anywhere close to feeling like this weekend felt.
And it felt like a lot of
that's
glad
like PGA
handing.
of America, like, right? If it's USGA that we think elevated this, then like, hey, PGA of America, it's time to step up and start treating that event like it's your biggest women's event. Which it
now, how much of this helps that Fox basically paid a bunch of money to get out of the contract, and then NBC's?
Well, it doesn't help the men's side, so I refuse to
That's true.
acknowledge that. So.
And I will say, I'd say the same thing about the RNA. They've been the latest to the party. Where have you guys been? But
but also like the women's British Open wasn't a major.
That's how late to the party they are.
That's what I'm saying. No, I know. That's what I'm like. They're starting from a place of like, this wasn't even a tournament.
Yeah,
it was the Weetabix.
Oh my God.
It was like just a rank and file LET event, right?
Yeah, Codeman.
Yeah, I just think that we talk about it all the time, that LPGA events, you get to feel like very routine, right? And even like Chevron felt that same routine. KPMG felt it a little bit differently, but like barely. I would say like with a like lowercase b.
And
possible.
the venue helps,
right? And sometimes like routine is very good, and sometimes it's like it suffers, specifically on like big events like this. Do you know when like routines usually help though? When you use AG1. Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundation nutrition supplement that gives you whole body health. I drink it literally every day. I literally do. Yari and I both drink this. We crush it. I love it. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted a boost of energy, immune system support, and I just can't get into a habit of taking those pills and vitamins.
I say that's exactly where I am? I remember a few years ago, you were insisting that we all get our lickies and chewies.
Absolutely.
And I just cannot get into a routine of taking a pill. And so I found AG1 to be a much, much better daily routine for me.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I drink it. I drink my AG1 when I first thing in the morning. It's the first thing that I start out with. It makes me feel good, ready to go. Like I'm ready to do something, it's doing something good for my body.
Funny story.
Yeah.
I got home from a trip a couple months ago, big thing of AG1 on the counter. I said to my wife, Alex, I said, oh, you found the AG1 back in my office that, I've been putting in smoothie. She's like, no, like I've been buying this. Like, well, at least
did you use the code?
Use our code, please.
Man,
where did they find that code?
Exactly. Man, everybody's looking for gut health. I like where you guys are going in your household, but like I said, I drink it every morning. It covers all my nutritional bases for the day. Literally couldn't be easier. That's why I trust AG1. I mix it one small scoop with water, drink it first thing, and you're done. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day. Pretty good if you ask me. It's really efficient.
And I'll say, so Tron wasn't too upset with Alex because it's not breaking the bank.
It could have cost us, less.
Yeah, true. It's a true win-win, whatever it is. I'm glad that you guys are on the bandwagon with it. I am. I know the Solomons are. As they get ready to make sure that their gut health is in peak performance. I know Eggman's over in the corner waving. He's a big AG1 fan as well. If you're interested in a comprehensive solution that you need for your supplement routine, then try AG1. You're going to get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and a free AG1, 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/NLU. That's drinkag1.com/NLU to check it out. Thank you.
Randy and I are getting plenty of vitamin D.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm going to be good for months.
Getting sunburnt, my man.
Yeah. So just a couple more things on the U.S. Women's Open specifically. We got Chef TC is going to do a limited seating at leaderboard service tonight.
We're full. We stuffed 3 nights in a row. And we've gotten so much.
No, we're doing hors d'oeuvres tonight.
The word's out. People are clamoring
to
get to down the leaderboard restaurant with Chef TC. Venues matter. You know, I think this has been a subtext of everything we've talked about. Venues matter. I'm beating a drum, but so glad that Pebble Beach, you know, it took long enough, but we finally got here. Just like Muirfield last year for the Women's Open, it has to host the biggest women's event, and that's the U.S. Open. And on the screen now are our future sites. And I'm excited. Like, this plays a part in why people tune in and get excited about this stuff.
We've got a great mix upcoming we got Lancaster next year,
which is they're going to show out.
Yeah,
that's
like those middle market
game.
Those middle market kind of outside Philly, great like places that, because Pebble doesn't necessarily have the intimacy. It's a tough course to get around.
Yeah,
you know, everybody's hanging out on 6, 7, 8 out there, and it's tough to get back in. I think Lancaster will be the opposite of that. Lancaster will be, you know, it's a Bill Flynn. I was talking to the Eggman about it earlier.
He says Lancaster.
We got Aaron Hills after that,
which is great.
We got Riv after that, which would be fascinating.
Cannot wait.
We talk about context. And we got, you know, Inverness, Oakmont, Pinehurst, Interlochen, Oakland Hills, LACC, and then Chicago Golf Club.
That's, I mean,
good mix.
Again, kudos.
But I think an important note of this, I still think it's going to be a slow transition, right? I don't think this like changed the game this week, right? I don't think it flipped the needle for women's golf, but I think the seeds that are finally being planted after just harvesting these forests on repeat are going to like shine through in probably 15 to 20 years, right? It's a long-term investment. Like just if you scroll back through like the venues, like while we were growing up of watching of women's golf, the U.S. Open venues were, I mean, Pine Needles has hosted a ton of these things, which is fun. Pine Needles is a good golf course. Doesn't move it's not to the level of like what's about to come.
Go ahead and use that pun. I see you working. Doesn't move the needle.
It's a great Pine Needles doesn't move the needle. We'll go with that.
I will say it's an important place though for the women's game, which kind of sets it apart.
It does, but it's not going to change interest level in women's golf. Indianwood Golf and Country Club in 94, Broadmoor, Pumpkin Ridge is a live golf course now. Like we're talking, read that list again and then compare that to Pumpkin Ridge, Old Waverly, Black Wolf Run, Merritt Club, Pine Needles again. Prairie Dunes is awesome, but again, like that's kind of an outlier in there. Back to Pumpkin Ridge, the Orchards Golf Club. I've never heard of that place. Cherry Hills, also totally fine golf course. Newport Country Club, Pine Needles again. Then we're back at Interlochen, Saucon Valley, Broadmoor back again. I mean, Oakmont's been mixed in there from time to time. Black Wolf will run again. It just has not been what's coming up. And it's going to take a while for this whole thing to flip over, I think. But I think it's something like that leads to, I think what we see right now on the men's side is a product of huge corporate investment in the game starting around the year 2000 with the Tiger Woods era that has led to a whole new, the support of more men's professional careers and such a competitive product that the level of play has gotten out of control good. And that's probably the women's game is probably 20 to 30 years behind that. And we're probably at the beginning of that, I would say.
It's a series of 10-year. It's like Stalin. It's a series of 10-year plans. Hopefully it turns out better than that.
I'll say the other thing, TC, we're going to leave that right there. I'll say the other thing, if Solly, you said the corporate sponsorship, the big takeaway was from a viewing perspective, from trying to add and, you get people tuned in, you get golf fans tuned in, having comprehensive stats is an important part of that. And I was going to say, I think from a viewer, honestly, from the game's perspective, I think one of the most important investments any company could make on the women's side is trying to get, and I know KPMG, I go back to KPMG, but it's not the same having caddies write it by hand, getting the shot links out there as much as possible.
We need the volunteers.
Yeah. That was wonderful this week. What else before we seat anybody?
I would say, I think the one thing I worry about is like an Aaron Hills, right? Is that too big of a ballpark and it's not going to feel like there's that many fans there for a U.S. Women's Open?
I think it's on Mr. Pie to whip up the people, get them out
we
there.
had a bunch of people come up to us this week and they're like, hey, I drove in from 4 hours away, or I flew in for this, or like I brought my daughter down. Like it was really cool to see, like, people like the Bay Area. A lot of people came down from San Francisco. A lot of people came in from Central Valley.
And honestly, Rose helped that. I would be remiss not to.
Condi came out for it.
I mean, Rose had the biggest crowds all week
by far.
And being that close to Stanford, San Francisco, that helped.
Yeah.
All right, TC.
Lastly, on that, the hope to come out of the parity, like with the superstar, is Rose. Right, like it is.
Yeah.
That's the hope. She's already garnered a level of attention that a lot. Like, I'm sorry to say this, like Allisen Corpuz is just not going to do that. It's just not the same hype train. It's just not.
No, and unless she like makes us pay. Like if she did something totally mental and went and won, But yeah.
Can I cook for a sec?
Yeah. So TC, welcome to Chef TC Restaurant down the leaderboard. What's our seating situation tonight?
We're just doing past hors d'oeuvres. We're not even going to sit down.
Okay.
I'm just going to mingle here.
All right.
I want to shout out Maya Stark for another solid 72 today. Top 10 in a major. That's always good. And she was rock solid coming down the stretch.
She got that wiki yellow.
Birdies on 14 and 16. And it wasn't a backdoor, just.
That's an earned yellow.
Exactly. Same thing Rose did this weekend, 72-72.
Yeah.
C game top 10 at major for Rose is a good week. I mean, she was not in contention, but that was a good week.
The Australian women kind of, Hannah Green, Grace Kim, both closed through the line, closed strong. Gosh, what else we got? Yuka Sasso kind of, recovered from a poor middle stretch. 75-75 Friday, Saturday, 71 today. We talked about Angel. So Patty T had higher hopes for Patty T after a really good start this week.
Again, I'm going to say any expectations you have for Patty T, I think it's your own fault. I think it's truly zero expectations right now.
Leona, I expect the apologies from the Irish to keep flowing in. I've gotten a couple thus far.
Yeah.
We will keep trying to get those in.
Very disappointing. No other way to say it.
Yeah. Massive shout out to Jenny Coleman.
Yes.
87-68.
Truly.
19 strokes.
I'm sure she was. I can't imagine how embarrassed she was yesterday, right? Having to put that out there, people talking about it on Twitter, to come back out and shoot 68 today. It shows me a lot. Good on her.
You know what that showed me, Randy? That I think you ran out of holes. I really do. If you'd had another 18, if you'd had another go, who knows what you could have done after that 105. I mean, seriously.
Thank you.
That makes me view that whole round differently.
Yes.
Good. I think a good overall week from Amari Avery. T48. She finished through the line. She shot 73 today after kind of a rough second and third round. I want to see Amari tighten it up. I want to see her.
Yeah, she's got to harness. Yeah, she's got to harness her talents. She's got to learn to pitch.
Yeah.
Don't be a thrower.
Paint the corners a little bit.
Yeah.
All that. I want to apologize on behalf of Lynn Grant in Sweden. Not what we were looking for. Made the cut.
Maybe she was beat up about people calling Ludwig Muehlberg.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. And then lastly, I want to shout out Monet Chun, who another amateur, made the cut. She got vaporized by you, Saki Baba at Chambers Bay in the USAM.
Yeah, she sure did.
And makes the cut this week, finishes T59, 1 shot ahead of Nelly Korda. I think that's a nice accomplishment for an
TC,
under-heralded amateur
when you
player.
say vaporized, I believe we're speaking 11-9, right, in that final match. Like truly,
it was tough.
Truly a vaporization.
Yeah.
Can I go one name down the leaderboard here? Just a weird one to call out here after a T64 finish. After listening to, I think it was Thursday night's show on Nelly, felt like you guys were a little closing the door on her a little too early, right? And I think
she shot 80 today.
It's not a good week and not a good summer run, but obviously, like, back to what we were talking about a lot at some point this year, is like this tight window of 2 majors back to back was a good chance for somebody to get in, grab bonk, and get 2 of them. Like if you get a hot stretch right here, it's really good timing. But also when you're coming off injury, changing coaches, and you have these 2 majors back to back in a key stretch of the year, and you don't like have your stuff, the door is not closing on Nelly. I'll just put that out there. I think this is a bad.
We're closing the door. We're
just souring.
Dog.
Yeah, we're just.
I just wanted to. Actually, this is more directed at KVV more than anything. Some of the questions were being asked, I felt like, hey, there's some time here. There's still some time. She's a fantastic player. It's obviously not there right now, but I just wanted to draw attention to that.
I'll say the one I wanted to mention is Janet Lin, Jiu Lin. She was very involved at KPMG a couple weeks ago, and she finished tied for 13th this week. You know, she's been playing excellent golf, and this is a very good week for her. You know, nothing more than that, but she keeps playing good golf.
Yes. Last thing before we move on, thank you to Roback, Woof Woof, Doghouse this week.
Truly, sincerely.
Right. Yeah.
This was I'd been looking forward to this week and being able to do something like this, and their help, their support means the world. So very, very, very appreciative.
Look for Jordan and KVV's written stuff. You can catch up on all that. Jordan, great piece on Allisen Corpuz that went up this morning prior to the round.
You guys have Michelle Wie Annika situation from Friday here.
No, I was going to get to that. I was going to transition to that.
Did you guys talk about it Friday?
We did. Does it
need to be revisited?
Yeah. First of all, I want to give condolences. Sally, I know you're a big cat guy. Annika lost her cat this week. Which, you know, people are asking if it was a false flag, if it was actually this week. I'm gonna say not even she could be that craven.
I'm not really versed in false flag stuff and conspiracies.
Let's sit that one out. We can talk about what did happen.
I think Mike can let us know, you know, on Twitter what's going on there. But it was bad. Having Annika there and Annika's whole deal.
This was like her third farewell.
Not good.
To the U.S. Open. I kind of shame on the USGA for pairing them together when she was never good to Michelle at all.
Yeah. Like
to the point where, you know, it's like, hey, like, what are we doing here? This is Michelle's moment.
I can't think Michelle was thrilled to be paired with her, you know? Yeah.
What's the history between the two? I don't think I really fully know.
I just don't think.
I think Annika resented her, you know, here comes this child prodigy. I think she was just always icy to Michelle. I'm not sure if there's much like on the record, but just from talking to folks, I don't think it was ever warm at all.
And then, you know, the way it ended with the rules thing, whether or not it was a good drop or not, just the whole setting was just. It's like, just have some class.
Yeah.
Well, let's take everybody back to that second round, 18th hole, and tell them, because not everybody caught that live show.
Well, so it's 8:00 Pacific time, right? 11:00 Eastern. It's Friday night.
It's darker than our cameras make it appear.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, there aren't that many people left on 18 green. Annika and Michelle, I don't think had like made a birdie that day between them.
Which shout out to Inji Chun.
Inji Chun's playing with him and like
playing
was in the tournament. And yeah, it's Michelle's send-off. She had definitively declared many, many months ago, this is going to be my last event. Pebble is it for me. And I think everybody just wanted a nice moment with Michelle, right? It was supposed to be a celebration. And judging by like Dan Hicks and talking to people, like maybe this was Annika's last US Open. I don't think anybody really knows. I don't think anybody would be surprised if she like played again.
She could win a US Senior Women's Open,
Yeah,
qualify back in, right?
And she's just kind of there and taking away from what should be like a great joyful walk for Michelle. And so Annika comes to 18, hooks one left off the tee. The camera
That's
angle,
important.
right? Pull hook. The camera shows that the ball probably doesn't cross the hazard, right? And she should probably be dropping if she's gonna drop.
But Randy, it was an elevated camera. How could we ever know?
So that's the whole thing. Annika's wants to go up, wants to claim it crossed, and none of this matters. Annika's son Will, I guess, was heard like, Mom, why don't you just drop another one and play? Like, you're not making the cut. Like, what are we doing? Well, Annika goes up. She gets into this, I won't call it an argument. It was
before we leave the tee, though. She's already talking about like provisional, like, and then there's they're talking with the rules official from the tee. So their story in hindsight is that everyone agreed that it crossed up there. But if you go back and watch it, like from the tee, they're all talking about like, I don't really know if it did. Like, can I play a provisional?
Right.
Like, no, you can't play. Like, that's what was happening on the tee. There was not a uniform. Her husband's on Twitter saying it's a,
Yeah, he seems really secure,
cut and dry.
Yeah, it was cut and dry.
My
We
wife's
all
super honest. Her whole career's clean. Yeah, cool, Mike.
it was tough scene, and we all saw this. Like, I assumed it was Annika. Maybe it was Antifa. I don't know what happened exactly left of 18 hole here. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. And well, anyway, it gets to the point where the rules officials finally up in the fairway on 18, just like, Annika, like, it's your call in the end, right? Like, you just have to make the call. So she
Please,
takes
let's get this over with.
Yeah. Which, and it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm not even mad about her. Like, I think everybody was just like, Annika, let's go. Like, this is Michelle's final hole. Like, Inji Chun is in this turn. Like, let's go.
Just a window into who she is.
Yeah, I think it was just really indicative of who Annika is. You have to respect the accomplishments that she's had on the golf course, but I think this is just kind of a window into her whole deal, and it's not good. And it's a shame, but it was a stark contrast with Michelle. And Michelle has been nothing but graceful. Michelle has, to her credit, through a disappointing career, is happy. She's got a daughter. She's got a husband. Like, she's ready to move on with her life. She wants to stay involved in the game and help the younger generation. And ultimately, like, that's what we should all take from Friday and from this weekend. But yeah, it wasn't the way anybody would have wanted that to happen. So it was just a shame.
Again, it just goes back to like, dude, you're already 7 off the cut line, and if there's any doubt about whether a ball crossed, just see another one. Just see another one. It's a horrible, horrible example to make for any kids who are watching at home, and for just like how to play the game. And I know I get a little preachy when it comes to rules stuff, but like, man, this stuff is on television. Like, we have it on footage. We had a person there with eyes on it as well that would testify like, that ball was like not crossing. And it's like, what are we doing here? It's so unnecessary, such an unnecessary battle to pick. And it was a tough scene on Friday night. Hated all of it.
I will say I'll plug KVV's piece on Michelle and, where she has come in her life. I think it's just a really like lovely read, and it's timeless. People can find it on their own time, but I'd encourage people to check out what KVV wrote about Michelle from Friday, published Saturday.
Bottom line, great week.
Awesome week. Solly, we're going to turn the tables here because we didn't really watch any PGA Tour action. So why don't I toss the ball hosting to you, and Tron and I will kind of just react here.
I didn't watch a whole lot either, other than having Lee Harvey Oswald and Adam Schenk in my plays this week. I thought we had a chance for some nuggies to hit this today, but that did not happen, as Sepp Straka went out at the John Deere, shot 28 on the front, and came out and birdied like 85 more holes on the back nine. He was 11 under par through 14. It is a par 70 71. So he is par in to shoot 60 from there. The 17th was a quite reachable par 5 that a lot of people were birding. So if you're that hot, we're counting that one to say like, all right, dude, one more birdie, either 15, 16, or 18, assuming you get 17, and you're going to shoot the second 58 in PGA Tour history, the first ever 13 under 78 or 58 in PGA Tour history. And he did not birdie 15, did not birdie 16, did not birdie 17. Now he was like up by a mile, up by 5 shots or so, but like, hey, you can make a run at the John Deere. Like you don't know how much is enough. Hits the fairway on 18, steps up, and has claimed he was not thinking about 59 or anything. And I refuse to believe it because he pull hooked an iron into the pond on 18, took a honest drop, like a really honest drop, like farther back than I thought he needed to take. Chipped on, missed the putt, and made double to shoot 62. And it looked like he lost the tournament because Brendan Todd was in shouting distance. Alex Smalley was in shouting distance, but they just could not manufacture anything coming down the stretch. Brendan Todd 3-putted the 16th hole, which was like his first, I saw the graphic, his first 3-putt in 131 holes, something like that.
God, good Lord.
Yeah, he's like one of the best, he's like maybe the best putter in the world. And that was a very uncharacteristic 3-putt. That dropped him from 20 under to 19, didn't birdie 17, didn't birdie 18. And then Smalley also could not make a threat down the stretch. So Straka doubles 18 to go on and win by 2 shots. Sepp Straka was 3 over par, standing on his 17th hole at the John Deere on Thursday. He birdied that one, but shot 73 in the opening round, shoots 63 in round 2, 65 in round 3, and doubled 18 to shoot 62 at the Deere. Ooh. So that was I learned the phrase. We've been saying mule run. I believe it's mule pull is actually the proper phrase. Somebody DM that. I hope I got that right. No, that's not right. Is it right? Somebody's going to correct me on that. But
question for TC. I believe Sepp Straka is Austrian.
He is. He's Austrian Valdosten.
Are we? Where is he on like your Ryder Cup radar?
He's getting in the mix. I think he have to go over, unless he's a captain's pick, he needs to go over and play.
He's the same affiliate member that Ludwig is, apparently.
Right. So to qualify automatically, you would have to go and play a certain number of Euro Tour events. Whereas I think for a captain's pick, he's eligible for a captain's pick, but not for the. Is that right?
I don't know, but
nobody can tell us.
I didn't mean to put you in a bad spot. I was more just theoretically.
Podrick had wrong information. Like Ludwig's eligible. He's an affiliate member of the DP World Tour, but I feel like eligibility is treated differently for automatic qualification versus eligibility for captain's pick.
Who could say? But
something to look into. Sorry.
If honestly, Big, if I'm looking at like the numbers and everything going on, I feel like Sepp Straka is like a case study of how people's eyes gravitate towards, if you've won something, that must mean you're going to be on the team. When it's like
low floor.
Sepp Straka is up and down. Like he might be the perfect pick for the Ryder Cup. Like he might have a crazy hot week. Listen, if you're 11 under through 14, you don't have to worry about doubling the 18th hole because you've already won your match. Like we're not worried about that. But
I would argue he's like the worst pick because his floor's so low, and if he shows up and doesn't have it, he's just, you got to hide it.
There's no way to know. There's no way to know until like week of. And again, it comes back to like how do you construct a team? The obvious answer is who are you betting on playing the best during the week of the tournament? Right?
I feel like Euro's got to bet on high variance though. Like that's their only shot.
Well, Rasmus and Ludwig both won today, or both. Ludwig and Ludwig T4.
Okay.
Rasmus won. Ludwig, disappointing week, and he finishes T4 at the John Deere. Which the John Deere, I want to shout out the John Deere.
It's
John
the fifth major.
Awesome. Crowds were awesome out there this week. It's good. It's cool. I like it.
The big dig's awesome. Saw all the little Blairs out there.
Yeah,
it's a cool event.
But again, like even Rasmus is like a case study. Like you point at it, he's been like way below average, like professional golfer over the last 3 months and below average over the last 6 months. Right. And like he wins today and all of a sudden it's like, well, now he's on the team. It's like, man, it just takes. I can subscribe to like the variants, like the young gun, like all right, let's go Ludwig and the Højgaard twins to fill out the team and kind of hope
See what we got.
Yeah, hope for some fireworks. I can subscribe to that, but one hot week does not cover up like inconsistent play, and it's a very common thing on both sides, on the American side and the European side, of like pointing towards wins. Randy does it habitually. He's a habitual line.
Me and my guy, sweet baby James Corrigan. We're both all about those wins, baby.
Yeah, like Taylor Gooch winning live events all of a sudden, covers up his inconsistent major performance and, the live events that he disappears at. Like it just is. Strokes gain doesn't lie. Like it just tells you who has played the best golf over long stretches of time.
Weird.
But that also doesn't mean you're going to play great golf in the Ryder Cup, right? So there is an element of like trying to find the hot hand, find the hot pick, find the right guy that's great for the format and somebody wants to play with, and the partnership fits great. And all these stats guys look at all this stuff, and it's way more than just strokes gained that they look at. But I mean, I know Jamie Weir's going to have him on the team because he's got 38 guys on the team. But I don't know. If I'm the European, I'm like, if I'm a European fan, I'm asking for a little bit more consistency of somebody that's going to be on the team.
Fair. That's fair. I thought Cam Young was going to have a bigger week. He got off to a great start. T6 for him. JT Poston, a good defense. One guy that I think should be a long look. He should have a spot on the U.S. Ryder Cup team ahead of, say, JT, unless JT starts playing well. Danny McCarthy.
I'm ready to have that conversation, TC. It's been a sustained, really solid period of golf, and he was a favorite in this tournament. I had a play on him and don't regret having to play on him at all. Like he's played really freaking good golf over the last 3 months. He is like almost +2 strokes gained. Like that's like Cantlay Xander level of golf. Like that's the standard that they set like year round, which is pretty incredible. But it's been that good.
Can I go back some real quick? What you said something earlier today about Cam Young. Where are we on Cam Young?
We said he needed to get unplugged and plugged back in. He is plugged back in, but like the system's still like reboot. Like when you reboot the system.
Do we need to restore factory settings? I'm concerned.
So there were some golf ball changes. I hope I have this right. He has very recently put the left dash back in play, I believe. And I don't know when he changed, or I have to research that. But I did read that he has changed back to a golf ball that I think he had success with. Again, I could have that very wrong, but that may be something worth noting and following. So
I'd like to also shout out Chairman Mao.
Yes,
Bill Mao.
You've gotten a Stalin reference and a Chairman Mao reference now, for the record.
Thor Bjornsson shot 63 this week.
Will be impressed.
We got to talk Ludwig. Like we have it. You can't just skip past your boy here. What the hell?
He played like shit on Saturday. People were calling him Mulevig Aberg.
Which is wonderful, for the record.
It's like the guy he's a stud. Like we haven't even seen he putted his ass off today. Didn't putt well the rest of the week. He's not hitting his irons great over the last month or so. Like we're not seeing his A game, and he's like making waves out there. Like just be patient.
I had so many people come up to me today asking, can Ludwig put 4 days together?
I think he can. I think part of it is he needs to be on harder courses. He's competing on courses that aren't necessarily like he doesn't hit the ball to 12 feet. He hits the ball like 15 to 20 feet a lot with his wedges. Like he needs to tighten that up. But overall, like he's played like 4 events. He's played 4 events now. He's won 40th in the FedEx Cup.
I would like to correct the record. It was left dot ball that Cameron Young was playing. Left dash ball. But TC, I really liked what I saw out of Ludwig today.
Thank you.
I mean, it's
big of you.
The driver is a serious weapon. I mean, I think he's going to challenge Scotty for being the best driver in the world. And
I'll say too, young hitter Madeline Sackstrom, her fiance Jack Clark on the bag for Ludwig. So we like that.
Profitable. That's gonna be a profitable place to be. I have a feeling. Putted well this week. He was playing offense. I saw some controlled wedges out of him today. Hoover, I know you've already hoovered up all the stock, but if they issue more shares at any point, I'll take some off your hands.
I'll cut you in. It's a dividend stock too.
Yeah.
Also,
No crypto buys though.
No
Yeah,
crypto.
Straight
you can't-
cash.
yeah,
That's all.
No
You
crypto.
can't be putting down no
Yeah.
coinage for that.
There's Bitcoin
Um,
and there's crypto. Well, we've been over this. Okay, it's two different things.
I wonder how those USGA NFTs were going this week.
It's a great question.
are there USGA NFTs?
There were.
Seriously?
Yeah.
For like what? Like what are they?
I heard they were worth $20 billion. According
They
to
were.
Phil
They
Mickelson.
were. They gamified
One
them.
house at Pebble Beach. They're worth one house at Pebble Beach.
They gamified them.
Anything else from the Deere?
What else do I have here?
Solly, there were so many deer running around Pebble Beach inside the gates. I was so worried we were gonna hit one this week.
Mule deer.
We saw bucks, we saw does, it was crazy.
I didn't get to hear about hanging out at Nance's house. How was that?
That was for the personal collection.
Yeah, Jim made a point. Guys, leave the camera in the car. We're just hanging out as friends. I'll say he's got a nice setup
Almost
though.
made a couple aces.
No hole-in-ones were had. It was a
Yeah.
great
No
time.
hole-in-ones
though.
were had. We didn't get on the hole-in-one.
Uncle Jim, you know how it is, Solly. He remembers our times very well. He's a great guy. Very, very hospitable of us.
He's very impressed with Ludwig too.
Yeah,
Yes.
big love, big fan. We all wanted to get on the. He's got a rock displaying anybody who's ever made a hole-in-one on his replica 7th hole at Pebble. None of us joined it.
Guys, I hit like 70 balls trying to make an 8 there back in February. Like I think he was borderline. Like, okay, man. Like it's
I think
never
TC was.
Try it.
Well, we all had scares.
Almost
scares.
put it down the chimney.
Yeah,
Flew it directly into the hole. But
He's,
he's
working that bad Santa ball. The
very
wind is crazy
bullish.
back there. It swirls.
yeah,
very
is
bullish on Los Jaguars.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope he makes some Jacksonville trips this year.
They're not a part of their
No.
AFC package.
Yeah, he absolutely will not
No,
be.
he will not be coming to Jacks. On other PGA Tour fronts, it was announced this afternoon Randall Stevenson will be stepping down from the PGA Tour board. The former AT&T executive resigned his position on the PGA Tour's influential policy board in a letter dated Saturday, writing he had serious concerns about the tour's controversial partnership with the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. This is from the Washington Post. In his resignation letter, he said the framework of the deal is not one that I could objectively evaluate or in good conscience support, particularly in light of the U.S. intelligence report concerning Jamal Khashoggi back in 2018.
He also had some things to say about the governance of like the way it came together. Shout out to the Washington Post for a good scoop on that. I think
This feels like a big deal to me.
it really does. I think there was not a like iron. I think they just kind of the four other independent directors on the board basically get to pick the next board member with the consultation of the player directors as well. This kind of feels like a little bit of a mutiny in Jay's. This guy's
That's exactly what I was going to
ran
say.
one of the largest companies in the world. He's also destroyed probably more shareholder value than any individual ever. Literally like the Time Warner deal and it's crazy.
I know.
But it definitely feels like something it's like Jay needs to probably and then Jay's coming back this week.
But so if you say it feels like a mutiny, to me, it feels like an opportunity for the tour and the loyalists there to consolidate more power, right? It's not a no vote. It's all right. He's getting replaced
It's almost
by somebody
worse than a no vote though, right? Because it's basically like it's like a protest. It's like, hey, that's a message to guys on the tour, in my opinion.
Here's how I see it. It is going to go through. Like it's going to get voted yes, and rather than be a no vote and be on an island out there or be on the record with that and continuing on with this role, he would rather just not cast the yes vote.
He also might be trying to get out before it all goes kaput.
That's the thing that I get too, is like if you look at all the other stuff that's going on and all these other whispers and people kind of making alliances and all that, maybe I don't know if he's making a play for commissioner. I don't know if he's part of one of the other groups. It just seems like there's a lot at play here, especially when they announced that Jay's coming back this week and people didn't even know at the tour. Like this was going to be my Yeti coldest moment of the week.
Well, we can save it.
Yeah. So, or Cody, tell me, you want to do that now or you want to? Okay. So yeah, Jay's been out in Steamboat fly fishing for a month.
Ripping lips.
And people on the, it's a picture of Jay there.
I was up in Steamboat. I snapped that picture the 4th of July weekend.
And I think like people at the tour, like in the like executive level, found out about the news that Jay was coming back via Twitter and the press calling them for comment.
It just goes like something's wrong and rotten.
A lot
like,
is wrong. A lot is
Yeah.
not going well.
no,
They hired a new PR firm in Washington. I think the other PR firm that they were working, or the other lobbyist that they were working with, is now representing the 9/11 families,
yeah.
which is tough. I don't know. I'm very keen. I think the next month is going to be really interesting for the tour.
This week could be very interesting.
Yeah.
Big meeting in DC on Tuesday. We'll see what happens. Of course, Jay couldn't come back for that.
Yeah.
But he's coming back later in the week. You know, it's
Captain
crazy.
Ron. I think Captain Ron will do fine in front of.
I've actually heard good reviews from internal
Captain Ron's a dog.
from people at the tour
The one
saying
you do not trust or you can't.
No,
trust.
like he's like
Shout out
he's up
36
for it,
Mafia.
I think.
Okay.
He knows where the bodies are buried. And he's not going to get spooked up there in front of Congress.
Okay.
if you're listening by now,
Oh my God, it's been bad. The egg.
my boys are getting throttled here on the
I know.
Monterey
Sorry. I'm
Pod.
sorry. We got a house guest. I told him to get off the Wi-Fi.
Get
but
off the
listen to
Wi-Fi.
me.
We're gonna have an interview. If you're probably up by midday tomorrow, I interviewed Senator Ron Johnson, actually talking about the upcoming hearing on Tuesday. A bit of a primer for that. I made all best efforts to get both sides of the aisle represented. Did not hear back from Senators Wyden or Senators Blumenthal. I did my best to make it a non-partisan issue or hear both sides of it, but spoke with Ron Johnson about what to expect from it and what government's role in it is in it. And so you can probably find that on your podcast feed by midday on Monday. So
Stolen Valor, Richard Blumenthal.
Yeah.
Hate it. Solly, take me to. Actually, I want to shout out Brendan Quinn for an excellent.
Yeah, that was really
piece
good
this week on the LIV stuff. And the big scoop there was Yoster came to the meeting and said basically, they were dropping the litigation regardless of whether they came to an understanding or not, which was shocking. So,
which means homeboy really did not want to go through discovery
or depositions
or depositions.
Yeah. Solly, can we talk about the Wimbledon picks?
Yes. There was a lot of picks floating around. I want to first talk about of course, the Justin, Jordan, Ricky ones. Our boy Jordan, I don't know if he's packing poorly, or I don't know if he doesn't have, an iron in his hotel room. I don't know what exactly the situation was for Spieth. But
TC called him a ragamuffin.
I texted Greller. I said, we got to do better. We got to wear better shoes. The whole thing. It just looked really, really poorly put together. I thought Ricky and JT, Ricky especially looked resplendent. So
yes.
Props to them. And somebody else looked resplendent. Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh my God.
Let's save that for later, maybe if you don't mind. So,
Sally, take us to the DP World Tour.
DP World Tour. I was watching this pretty keenly today. I was really pulling for our boy Richie Ramsey. Big Shot Bob had quite a meltdown on the back nine. It was quite unfortunate. Triple bogey that would have been great for TC's Vision Fund. He totally
tough weekend for TC's tots.
Yeah. We had Richie Ramsey made a double bogey on the 18th hole. Unfortunately, he had a one-shot lead. It's a tough 18th hole. It's kind of a circus 18th hole, but I've seen that hole in Europe in a lot of places. There's a lot of golf courses that look like this around Europe. He then Rasmus Højgaard and Nacho Elvira ended up in a playoff that went so long that American Networks just abandoned it completely. It went off Golf Channel, and it said it was on golfchannel.com. It was not when I went there.
Wow.
And then you had to go to NBC Sports app, not the Cock, but NBC Sports app, which apparently I don't have anymore. I didn't think I needed anymore.
Why can't they put that on the Cock?
Randy, what do we always say? The Cock will never help you. It's
contracts.
I will
never
say
there's an added bonus.
I don't want to support the Cock, but having the Cock out on course where I could pop an earbud in and watch the Cock while I wander around the golf course was helpful.
Randy
Air
was
Cock
watching
one was
so much coverage from on the course. It was wild.
Yeah.
And shout out to Randall Stevenson and AT&T for the bandwidth out there too, right?
That's true.
That's shout out to my boy John Stanky. All right.
The snaky leg.
So yeah, Rasmus Højgaard eventually won it. I don't know how, but on the 6th playoff hole that took a long time. There was an update And I was just like, dude, guys, American TV abandoned this a long time ago. Like it's lost steam here, unfortunately. But
yeah, McIntyre played flawless golf for the first like 11 or 12 holes, and then she makes a triple, and then makes another bogey. And
Just
it's like,
can't
what
do
are
that.
we doing, dude?
Yeah, we just can't do that.
Nacho Elvira, Mark Warren, cheers, and Kaye Samoya. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's Finnish. Qualified for the Open.
See one of those F1 drivers they got playing golf over there.
Like
yeah.
Miko Ilinen.
LIV London at Centurion. Cameron Smith won the individual title. He missed a relatively short putt on the par 5 18th for par, which would have forced a team playoff. I believe the first one in LIV history.
Between them and the Aces?
Yes. Everyone knows the Aces, but not a lot of people know Stinger GC.
No, no, the Rippers, not Stinger.
Ripper, I'm sorry. So I'm getting there, man. I'm really trying to get into this thing, man, because it's so the longevity is obviously guaranteed here. The Aces do get the team victory. TC noted here that 6th place finish for the Cleeks on the move.
The midfield battle is electric right now. Cleeks beat the Crushers. They beat the Fireballs. Torque is like just so inconsistent. And then guys, Smash finished 11th in the midst of this whole Brooksy Wolf beef. Wolf finished last place, DFL, behind Siwon Kim. And by the way, Siwon Kim has, I think this was the first time he hadn't finished in last place all year. He's made almost $1 million on course this year.
That's healthy. Things are healthy in pro golf right now.
What a world. That's incredible. I feel like they should get Derek Bell in. Do a little operation shutdown. He could teach him the finer points about just quitting on your team.
Yeah.
In the midst of a season.
But things are percolating between Brooksy and Wolf. The fact that they haven't been able to arrange a trade yet. I mean,
can you trade?
Think the
there's no mechanism.
Managers and the GMs would be.
No, there's no mechanism.
The hot stove seems to be non-existent.
Well, I mean, his cap hit is just too big. I mean, there's not a lot of teams that had that much trade exception. I think.
And now we've got this first apron and second apron.
Right.
And John Hollinger was walking us through it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know. What on a more serious note, what'd you make of Brooks calling out Wolfie publicly and some of the reaction? Well, let me just ask you, Solly, what'd you think of all that?
First of all, I still will maintain like this is probably the most interesting thing about LIV. And if you had a team format with all of the best players and there was dynamics like this going on, I think that would be legitimately interesting. It's a very real beef. If you haven't been able to tell by them just like removing Matt Wolff from their social channels several weeks when things blew up in DC, and I guess they couldn't move him, and now it's just this awkward phase of they got to play this out and finish it. But Brooks said, "Yeah, I've basically given up on him. He's wasted talent." Like everything with Brooks, I am always crediting him for actually being someone to speak out in the media and give us things to talk about, but probably something that could have been kept behind closed doors if I was a team leader and wanted to, recruit people to play for your team in the future for as long as this thing exists. But it's a lot of people asking, is this fake juice like made up by LIV? No, it's not. No. It's a very real beef. And it's an interesting dynamic. Look into what could be interesting about team golf. It just will never be interesting at the scale with LIV Golf.
Did you guys see the flash mob?
Oh, did I? Of course. Yeah.
God, what's the what movie is it from? The tweet with a guy that's like just looking super sad behind the computer. Somebody captioned a tweet this week that was just like the LIV Simps logging online one more day to defend this stuff. It got me so good.
Got that from Dirty Mike's Twitter.
I'll tell you what bothers me a little bit about it is like it's cringy, it's lame, it's it's all of those things. I kind of resent the LIV boys and the LIV stands wanting to like heads we win, tails you lose situation where it's anything bad is actually good, because it's like those advertisements on the bus benches, like, see, you looked like, I don't know, man. Like, if we can't call anything like dumb and stupid again, like, what are we even doing?
It's like that drill tweet, like, you moron, nothing matters.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as good.
Yeah.
Here's the difference.
I don't know.
We all always get accused of whatever, standing for the PGA Tour. Like, the difference between us and them, we will make fun of this exact thing, whether it happens on the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, or the LIV Tour. And the fact that the LIV boys like rush to defend this is like all the window into all of this that anyone needs to see of the discourse.
It's so stupid, deeply unserious people. Codeman, what are you gonna say?
We also got the portraits, right?
Yeah, we got the portraits. That's where I was going to go next. Look at these. Like, I can't make this up. That I guess these portraits were gifted to every captain. Solly.
Oh, cool.
Duke Brooks.
That's great.
Looks exactly like him. I mean,
Cam
Rory.
Sir Cameron looks just like Rory, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Lord Bubba.
He actually, I mean, I kind of dig that actually.
That ain't it. Duke Bryson's just not having it. Yeah, it's silly. I don't know. It's just a silly week all together. I don't understand like the like Randy was saying. Of course you guys are making fun of something. Holy cow, talk about golden hour on a live show. I just realized what we have going on behind us.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Such good light here. Do you know what happens? Like you guys, I'm sorry you're sitting on the bench. You're getting blasted right now. Do you know what helps that though? If you have some nice cool water that you drink out of your Yeti Rambler. That's right. The 18-ounce Rambler is your must-have cold holding drinking vessel that should be immediately added to your bag. This tough bottle is double wall, vacuum insulated to keep your water ice cold until the last sip. It's dishwasher safe, easy for cleaning, and comes standard with the chug cap lid. Show them, Solly. All right, that chug cap lid is shatter resistant. It's a drinking spout that allows you easy pulls on the go. This, of course, is the Yeti coldest moment of the week. We're going to start with Mr. TC.
I already did it. The PGA Tour. Big J not telling anybody he's coming back. Just throwing it out there. Like, hey, Big J, I'm back. I'm writing a letter to the players. I'm stoked to get back. I've been ripping lips, cutties, rainbows, browns, Brooks, all those. We're back. Big J, I guess it's not till the 19th. 17th. Welcome back, dog.
And congrats on the win today with Corpuz.
Yeah,
of course. All right, Solly, what do you got?
This one goes out to my guy TC. I don't know how he does it all. I don't know how he's out in the West Coast and yet taking in Wimbledon as well. Absolutely stunting on the folks. If you don't know, TC wears these hats, but only in private.
You guys are sick guys.
TC's a pork pie guy.
He will never let us photograph him wearing these hats. We had one video it was an awesome video that we shot, and he realized we had one shot of him in the hat, and he wouldn't let us publish the video. But he loves wearing these pork pie hats, and he has for many years. And Tommy Fleetwood said he was thinking about TC on the back nine of the RBC Canadian Open. Have to think he was thinking about our boy TC, paying homage to him here at Wimbledon, wearing the TC hat. That is my Yeti coldest moment of the week.
Yeah, you and Solly and Neil and DJ decided a couple of years ago, like, how'd you guys decide to just make that a bit? And
that was all DJ.
We needed a bit. Everybody needs a good bit.
Do you wear these hats?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever worn anything remotely resembling that is when I did the Hitter Blanco thing at Sawgrass.
That's not true. Wild World of Golf at Winter Park, you also did, if we could pull that up.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
He's
my wife's hat, though.
He's been getting a little away from it in recent years.
That's right. I thought you were a big felt hat guy.
Going around
Let
Oxford.
me turn this one into
a Thursday night in Oxford. Saw you remember TC always had a hat like that.
Absolutely.
Trendsetter. Morons.
My coldest moment, of course, we brought it up already. I didn't flash the picture then, but something's going on with Jordan here. His suit, he must have, maybe the jet was late or something like that. He didn't have time to steam it up. Annie, of course, probably has other things going on. They're all chasing kids around, but overall, just kind of a poor performance here from our guy. Wrinkly. It looks like he pulled it straight out of his NLU laundry bag. That was a Nest gift from last year that people used to dump on. That could be the best gift ever received from a membership that you can join if you want to join the Nest. This is not an ad read. Anyway, shout out to Ricky and JT though, like stunting all over it. If people are going to take in Wimbledon, it's once in a lifetime opportunity, right?
I'm jealous.
They're doing it right.
I would love to do exactly what they're doing. Cody, I know we weren't sure if I was going to still be on the show, so we didn't prepare graphics for a coldest moment for myself.
Maybe Annika?
I'm going off the cuff. No, I'm going Ellie De La Cruz, stealing 3 consecutive bases on 3 pitches, including home on Saturday night. The guy's he's an absolute superstar.
And he makes me want to watch baseball, which is
honestly the highest
statement.
The highest compliment you could give. Yeah.
I was watching it live when it happened, and I screamed. Like, it was one of the most exciting plays of baseball I've ever seen in a close ball game, stealing third base, and then the third baseman was not covering the bags, who takes a huge lead. The pitcher turns around to face second base, and he took off for home, stole home. A lot of Reds fans in Milwaukee, it sounded like, just screaming, chanting Ellie afterward. He's 21 years old. It was incredible. They lost 2 out of 3, unfortunately, but unbelievable first half for the Reds. I still can't believe they're in first place.
Solly, I do want to give a shout out to your guy, Bob Huggins, who in a very cold moment is now saying that he didn't resign.
He may have taken some motivation from Monahan. He's like, I'm back, guys.
Or from Annika. He refuses to step aside.
I never resigned. What are y'all talking about?
In my defense, I was blacked out when I resigned, and I don't remember it. So I'd like to still be the coach.
God.
No, it's time. It's time, Bob. It's you ring it up. You're done. Strike 3. Called strike 3. I don't care if you resigned. It's
just like, go take care of yourself, man. You gotta get right.
So you know what else is time? It's time for us to wrap this thing up, man. It's
Cody. I'm so fucking proud of you, man.
Awesome week for us out here at Pebble. TC got us a rental house on.
I know. TC, props to TC.
That way.
I blasted out. I don't think.
Okay.
Hey, will you guys do me a favor? Go outside wherever it is and enjoy a beverage for me. You guys were awesome. You killed it all week. I wish I could have been there, but thank you for holding down the fort and traveling across the country and putting all the efforts you did into this championship. It was
Solly, do you know how hard it was? My bedroom looks directly out at the 13th and 14th holes at Cypress. Do you know how hard it was to just like wake up to that every day and be like, cool.
Not today.
Going on to the tournament.
Yeah. We also appreciate people sending us messages saying that, hey, we've also rented this Airbnb in the past, just to let you know
the frosted glass
glass that's at the front of the house is not frosted all the way. So if you're showering there, just let you know you're going to get a little look-see-loo from outside the gate. So I think that's where we're going to have the Eggman out tonight. It's been a great week. You know, it's funny when you talk about investment in like women's professional golf at the highest level and stuff like that. There's not a lot of people that you saw out here. You saw the big companies. Obviously, they're supporting. But I want to give a shout out to our guy here, Andy. Everybody knows him. I'm surprised he didn't jump in when we were talking about the septic tank. I know he was resisting hard.
It was a great day. I mean, European Ryder Cup lock. He's going to have the whole team decked out in squares by the end of the week.
What do you think about the mow line on 4 this week?
Oh, God.
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, let's go argue about that outside with
we can talk about that another day. But, you know, it was great to see the women at Pebble. But maybe time for Pebble to do some updating.
Don't leave me hanging here.
Amen. All right.
Shout out to KVV and Jordan. Check out their pieces dropping overnight about the Women's Open. Is that all?
How was the pizza?
No, KVV's already here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Solly. Hopefully I did you justice by manning everything. I'm sorry. I tried to keep the chef under control. He kept coming out with tasting menus. I couldn't control him.
I kept it tight tonight.
Thank you to High Noon. Of course, thank you to Roback. Thank you to the listeners and viewers who are with us all week. Next live show is not going to be next weekend. I understand that it's a designated event.
The Renaissance isn't a real course.
It's not
a designated event. It's just co-sanctioned.
Well, co-sanctioned. You'll see us next time at the British.
I just want to say thank you to you guys for giving me a nice place.
We're playing the music. All right, Solly. See you, buddy.
Peace out. Good night, guys.
See ya.